We are jumping in and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkion. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Gaiman Gladiators. It is SHIN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the French Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing his old team, his old clan, Alpha X. It is Arrogfire. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is time to get your gamba going. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Arrogfire was the underdog previously, and he still is the underdog. Can he cause another massive upset? SHIN going to be coming in as a heavy favorite. SHIN is very unorthodox. He's very aggressive in this matchup. He is very hard to read as a player. We've seen SHIN upset even in recent weeks players like MaxPax, players like Clem. SHIN is not one to be taken lightly, as you can see here as he goes for the gold. He rushes into the gold base. Again, SHIN, he's very prone to rushing into things like golds and going for roach-based all-ins, going for German taxis, going for queen walks across the map, going for 2-base muta, rushing into ultras. Yeah, he's just does his own thing. It can be very hard to get a handle on what SHIN is up to, so scouting is paramount whenever you play against SHIN. Arrogfire, he confirms that there is no expansion, and he will hopefully check. Ooh, doesn't check the expansion. So because SHIN has reputation, Dark as well. Oh, hello. But because they have reputations, it is very common for the Korean Protoss players to check and confirm the gold on this map against SHIN and Dark, and if they ever do see it, they respond with a forge, they respond with a pylon, and with a cannon rush, and they do an amazing job at just shutting down this kind of setup. Speaking of, Arrogfire is going for the proxy pylon. He may not have seen the expansion, but it looks like he has assumed that it's on the way. So Arrogfire, I mean, he did see the lack of natural, and he saw the lack of triangular threat as well, so true, it has to be the gold. So he has deduced that. There's our proxy gateway, and we'll see if Arrogfire can pull this off. Now, I'm a little bit less in love with this response. I mentioned before that the Korean players, the Korean Protosses, they respond with a cannon rush typically to punish the space. Going for the proxy instead takes a little bit longer to get going, but it is going to be the setup for a 1-base all-in. That's a full wall back at home, 2 gates back at home, 2 gates across. It's a, oh my god, it's a 1-base all-in with a proxy Twilight Council? Okay, that I was not expecting. Proxy glaives, proxy charge. I mean, we have limited gas available and only 2 and 2. I'm curious. Meanwhile, spine crawlers on the way. SHIN, he has confirmed, he has seen the proxy.
Your warriors have engaged the enemy.
He is a diva enjoyer as well. Do not forget that. And also he scattered earlier, confirming that there was nothing across the map. Now, because of that Twilight Council, the pylon is safe, the pylon is secure behind the buildings. It's going to be proxy glaive adepts, but the Twilight Council's under fire. Adepts, they have to respond. Lings, they do get some hull damage on the Twilight Council. They're committing, actually. Can they get a kill? It's going to be close. It's going to be very close. It looks like they will barely get the kill. Massive pickoff with the last hit from the Zergling. With the last hit, the last bite. Oh my god. Glaives is denied. Adepts, they still bust into the natural, but Lings are in position, and they do not do that. They do not commit. Queens are being picked off. 1 queen does not go down. The Lings are setting up for a surround. They come in from behind. They lock down the adepts. It's going to be 1 adept going down, 2 adepts, 3 adepts, almost 4. He wants that final adept. Does get it. This won't be the most efficient trade here by SHIN, but he still breaks through nonetheless. Getting on top of the adepts, making sure they do not protect that pylon. As they do shade away. Good positioning here from Arrogfire. Does position well, but the longer this goes on, the worse it is for Arrogfire. Again, the goal base is coming into play. SHIN, he is somewhat saturated. Banelings are morphing in as well. And with Banelings now in play, I don't think we can give into the shade. No, not at all. Arrogfire, he has to back off. SHIN, he's coming in for this round. He wants to lock down the army. No, there's no way out. Massive connections. Yeah, Adepts, they get annihilated. GG gets called, and SHIN takes game number 1. GG. SHIN does take the first game. Again, Arrogfire, he did confirm for the most part that there was the goal base in production, and he did respond with 1 base glaive adepts. I have not seen that response before. I'll be honest, that's the first I'm seeing of it, and I'm sure it has a lot of potential, just very unfortunate that SHIN was able to kill the Twilight Council before Glaives finished. And that was so close as well. Remember, that Twilight Council went down with the final hit from that Zergling. With the final bite from that Zergling, the Twilight Council went down. It was so close. You know, one more second and the Lings would have been cleaned up and the Twilight Council would have survived at least a little bit longer. So very clutch move there by SHIN. With that, GG, SHIN takes the lead. SHIN does take a lead, and now we're getting into game number 2. We're going to be loading into Oceanborn. Now, on Oceanborn, there's no gold base, so SHIN won't be tempted to rush into the gold. We should have a much more standard start to the game, but this map, as we mention all the time, is prone to all-ins. The third base on Oceanborn is very exposed. We've seen many roach-based all-ins in ZvP over the past year. It's very commonplace, and we'll see if that's what we get here as well. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Gaiman Gladiators, leading the series 1-0. It is SHIN. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player from the land of France, representing his old clan Alpha X. It is Arrogfire. And hello, SHIN. So he's not tempted by the gold, but he's tempted nonetheless to get a hatchery out on the map. He is going for the proxy hatchery here. I would imagine to hatch block the natural. Yep, there we go. It is rallied right onto the natural base. Ideally, this forces the Protoss player to pull the boys and to have lost mining time. And I want to say have around like 6, maybe even 7 workers off the mineral line. As there goes that hatchery. And the boys are being pulled. And it's going to be 6. So it's going to be 6 probes off the mineral line. And I mean, that's already worth it. You know, just denying any kind of mining time here for Arrogfire. Back at home, we should be seeing an expansion. Should be... Oh, never mind. I was going to say it should be a hatch build here by SHIN. But he's going for a gas pool before his natural. Okay. Now, part of this might just be because of the probe. Like, he sees the probe, so he knows that the hatchery is going to be delayed anyway. If it wasn't for the probe, maybe he would have gone for the faster hatchery. As the pylon gets placed, Arrogfire does pylon block. This hatchery should be cancelled. There's a cancel. SHIN forced to back off from... Oh my god. Almost gets another hatchery. Calm down. Just being as annoying as possible, delaying the Nexus for as long as he can. Oh! And the drone is going to get picked up. One more shot away from going down, and we'll get the hell out of there. Drone pulls away. And now we can settle in. Can settle in. Arrogfire now going to be expanding. Again, it is going to be a very late expansion for Arrogfire. There is going to be a window though. The biggest potential that Arrogfire has is a counterattack with this Adept. The reason for this, no link speed, right? Link speed is delayed because of the build, so these Adepts have potential to try to wreak havoc and pull apart the attention of the Lings and try to get some drone kills. As SHIN is double expanding, makes sense, because his natural was late, so going for his natural, going for his third. Link speed just now beginning, and SHIN, he's forced to make these Lings. Again, he needs these Lings to help defend, help survive against the Adept. Does need them. See in the chat, I like the spine to aggro the Adepts. Even if it wasn't Glaive Adepts, it is very common to go for a spine crawler at the gold. If it was a Stalker aggression or even a Zealot based all in, or even just regular Adepts, spine crawler is standard. Meanwhile, the Adepts, they do hit the third. Adept going for the drones, going for the mineral line, does not get a worker. Oh, he wants it! Doesn't get it. Whew. Does not get a worker in the main. But you can see how oversaturated SHIN is because he cannot defend the natural. He cannot defend this position, not yet. Lings move out, and now SHIN can transfer. Now he can Maynard over. And now we need to take a moment to take a look at the economic state, because it's kind of in a weird position here. Arrogfire is going into his Oracle, should be soon taking a third base. He's getting saturated up to 32 probes. SHIN doesn't have the greatest economic game state either, because it was forced to make all these Lings. So just kind of a shaky game state here overall. We're trying to settle in. Second gateway gets thrown down. SHIN is in position to delay the third. Oracle moves out. And we'll see if Arrogfire commits to any further tech. He doesn't. Okay, so he doesn't go for any tech before expanding. He goes for the third. It is a late third base here for Arrogfire, later than normal, even considering the game state. So SHIN has that going for him. Now he's droning. Safety Roach Warren at the 5-minute mark, just under 5 minutes. SHIN is trying to keep up. So far, so good. The Oracles haven't done much damage. Twilight Council's on the way. We'll keep an eye out for the Forge. If there is no Forge, this could be something more aggressive, but now there it is. Forge is on the way. So I'm leaning towards +1 Blink Stalkers. We'll see if Arrogfire goes for charge instead. It is very much so viable. From here, SHIN just saturating his bases, getting a fourth. He has links for map control, but that is it. He did get the safety Roach Warren, but he hasn't invested into any Roaches themselves. +1 range is on the way. That tells us that SHIN does intend to commit to Roach play and maybe into Hydras down the line. But now he's just droning. Oh. Now he's just droning up. Now he's taking all of his gases. Now he's saturating. And we have the answer. It is not Blink, it is Charge. It's going to be +1 in Charge here from Arrogfire. From here, he can go into Archons and Immortal production as well. And he will have a timing. There's going to be a window here where he can push in with these upgrades. And if SHIN is too greedy, I mean, he can get caught out. If he's too greedy. But now he's moving out with his Lings. He throws down his Hydroden. So far, he has not made any Roaches. He can, but ideally he wants to get away with just purely Hydra production. They threaten the dive. They do see the reinforcing Zealots, so even though SHIN hasn't seen much of the main, he knows. Now he knows it is Charge. He's aware of Chargelots. Hydras are amassing as we speak. Now, we spoke about this timing for Arrogfire as Charge is just now finishing, and now he can push. But he's just trying to keep up with the Lings. They're in position to get eyes on the fourth at least. Arrogfire is keeping up. War Prism has arrived. Lings, they just keep these Zealots busy. And they're just giving SHIN time to build up Hydras, build up Roaches. And SHIN should be fine. Even against this Roach move out, sorry, this Archon move out, SHIN should be okay. He caught workers at 3 base saturation. Lings have eyes on the Archons. They're going for the fourth. And SHIN's ready. Does get supply block though. Overlords go down. Massive pickups. Here come the reinforcements. There are force fields available. No Ravagers. Never mind. They're morphing in. They are just now morphing in. Arrogfire has to back off. Again, SHIN, he only drone up to 3 bases. He got the 4th base just for Larva. Played it safe. And those Lings from earlier, they were the real MVPs. They bought so much time for SHIN to build up this army. And now he's getting ready for his own counterattack, and he is still not droning. Oh. And SHIN is not droning up, he's pushing instead. Gets eyes on the Archons, only 1 Immortal. And SHIN's maxed. SHIN, he's maxed out. Ay, ay, ay. And can Arrogfire survive? Immortal production, it's still underway. Files don't quite connect. You can see SHIN, he peels off some units, goes for the 4th. And SHIN is pushing forward the Wiles. They connect with the High Templar. Storm is finishing up in a couple of seconds. Storm just now finishing. Meanwhile, that's a kill on the Nexus. Fourth base goes down. Charge Ops are doing well for themselves, but now the rest of the reinforcements can focus on the third. Oh, the contamination! Oh my god! Contamination on the Robo. SHIN's crazy. With that, no more Immortals. SHIN is still rallying across the map, and there's barely an army left for the Protoss. There's 2 Templar, 1 Immortal. GG gets called, and SHIN will break through, will take the series 2-0 and advance on to the quarterfinals. GG. GG, well played. Again, a very dynamic game here from SHIN. It was just a really awkward start, especially here in Game 2. Game 1, you know, Arrogfire here responded with an all-in, and for Arrogfire to be denied Glaives was a brutal moment for him. Here in Game 2, we had a bit more of a back and forth instead, but we spoke about it. There were certain timings, certain windows that Arrogfire was trying to make use of, which he wasn't able to because of the Lings, because of the run-bys, because of the counterattacks. Arrogfire was delayed, and SHIN was looking very comfortable as well. Was looking very, very comfortable. That is also why the Robo and Immortal production was delayed, because Arrogfire wanted to hit with Charge and Archons first, but he missed his window. He missed his timing. Then he had to stumble into the mid game and stumble into Immortal production, but couldn't quite get there. He was punished by SHIN. GG. GG, well played. With that, let's head on over here to the bracket. Do we have any updates? This was a fast series.